Okay, so tonight we're diving into some seriously intriguing stuff. UFOs. And not just any UFO sightings, but the ones reported in the Mojave Desert, a place that's practically synonymous with the unexplained. We've got a stack of eyewitness reports, possible explanations, and even a touch of that Area 51 mystique to sift through. By the end of this deep dive, you'll be able to hold your own in any UFO conversation, armed with facts and some pretty wild anecdotes.
What's fascinating is that Mojave's connection to UFOs goes back decades. It's not a recent phenomenon at all. It's really woven this rich tapestry of mystery over the years.
So the Mojave Desert has been a UFO sighting location for ages, but were there any particular events that kind of put it on the map?
Absolutely. One pivotal moment was in 1947, when pilot Kenneth Arnold reported seeing 9 unidentified objects flying near Mount Rainier in Washington state. This sparked national interest in UFOs and set the stage for a wave of reports across the U.S., including the Mojave.
Ah, so it's like that sighting opened the floodgates, and people started looking to the skies with a new sense of wonder.
Precisely. Then fast forward to 1997, the Phoenix Lights. Thousands of people across Arizona and Nevada, including parts of the Mojave Desert, reported seeing a V-shaped formation of lights. This event reignited public fascination with UFOs and fueled all sorts of theories. It became a landmark case in UFO history.
Okay, the Phoenix Lights, that one definitely rings a bell. Thousands of eyewitnesses are hard to ignore. But let's dive into the heart of the Mojave mystery. What are people actually seeing out there?
The reports are surprisingly diverse. Some describe strange, often multicolored lights moving in ways that defy conventional aircraft. Others describe close encounters with disc-shaped objects or other unusual craft, sometimes even up close. This range of experiences makes the Mojave a particularly compelling location for UFO enthusiasts.
Okay, so we're not just talking blurry lights in the distance. These are detailed sightings. Do we have any specific examples? I'd love to hear what these encounters were actually like.
We do. For instance, one Mojave local reported seeing bright multicolored lights hovering over the desert on multiple occasions. What's intriguing is their specific mention of the lights moving in ways that just didn't make sense. Sudden changes in direction or speeds that would be impossible for any conventional aircraft.
Hold on, multiple occasions. That wasn't just a one-time, easily dismissed thing.
Exactly. And then there's the account from a driver traveling through the Mojave late one night. They describe a large, disc-shaped object hovering just above the ground, emitting a soft, pulsating light. As they approached it, suddenly shot up into the sky at an incredible speed, leaving them bewildered.
Okay, that sounds like something straight out of a movie. These accounts really make you wonder, are these just elaborate stories, or did these people witness something truly extraordinary?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But before we jump to conclusions, we need to explore the skeptical viewpoint. Even if you lean towards believing in UFOs, understanding the alternative explanations is key.
Right, let's hear the other side of the story. What do the skeptics say about these Mojave sightings?
Well, they often point to natural phenomena. The Mojave Desert has unique atmospheric conditions that can create unusual visual effects. Temperature inversions or mirages, for example, can distort light, creating strange shapes in the sky. Shapes that could easily be mistaken for something more exotic.
So something that looks like a UFO to an untrained eye could be a simple trick of the light.
Precisely. And then there's the possibility of misidentified aircraft. The Mojave is home to military bases and testing facilities, meaning lots of air traffic that could be mistaken for something more out of this world. A weather balloon at a certain angle could resemble a disc-shaped craft, especially to someone already primed to see a UFO.
Right, and I imagine with all the secrecy surrounding places like Area 51, people are even more likely to jump to that alien conclusion. But even with these explanations, some sightings remain unexplained. So let's explore the believer's perspective. Why would the Mojave be prime real estate for alien visitors?
From a believer's perspective, the Mojave has several appealing features. It's vast remote with low population density, plenty of space to move undetected, and less chance of being seen by humans.
Okay, the perfect alien hideout. Out of sight, out of mind. But why come to Earth? And to the Mojave specifically, in the first place?
Well, some point to the reported maneuvers of those UFOs, those rapid changes in speed and direction. They argue it defies our understanding of physics, hinting at technology far beyond anything we've developed.
So they're basically saying if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably an alien duck, right? But is there any scientific basis for this idea of alien visitation, or is it pure speculation?
Well, the Fermi paradox and the Drake equation offer some food for thought. The Fermi paradox highlights the contradiction between the high probability of extraterrestrial life existing and the lack of evidence for it. The Drake equation tries to quantify this probability, estimating the number of detectable civilizations in our galaxy. While both have limitations, they suggest that alien life and even visitation might not be as far-fetched as it seems.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these concepts could add weight to the idea of aliens visiting the Mojave. But let's be honest, we can't talk about the Mojave and UFOs without mentioning the elephant in the room. Area 51, that place is practically synonymous with alien conspiracy theories.
Absolutely. Area 51 casts a long shadow over the UFO conversation, especially in the Mojave. It's highly classified, shrouded in secrecy. And that lack of transparency fuels speculation. It's almost like they're inviting people to think they're hiding alien technology there.
Right, and then you have those eyewitness accounts of strange lights and activity near the base. Further adding to the mystique, there are even declassified documents and whistleblower testimonies hinting at research into advanced aerospace technology, blurring the lines between fact and fiction.
Exactly. While concrete evidence of alien activity at Area 51 remains elusive, its very existence feeds into the narrative of government cover-ups and hidden truths, making it a focal point for UFO enthusiasts.
It's like a real-life X-Files episode unfolding in the desert. But amidst all the speculation and conspiracy theories, there are also genuine scientific efforts to study UFOs. Tell me more about those.
One prominent example is the SETI Institute, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. They use sophisticated telescopes like the Allen Telescope Array, which consists of multiple radio dishes working together to scan the skies for signals that might indicate intelligent life elsewhere. It's a fascinating endeavor that showcases a rigorous scientific approach to the question of whether we're alone in the universe.
So they're not just waiting for aliens to phone Earth, they're actively listening for whispers across the cosmos. What an incredible undertaking. But what about UFOs themselves? Is there any scientific research focused on analyzing sightings and potential evidence?
There's a growing movement of independent researchers and organizations conducting field
Oh,
investigations,
right.
gathering eyewitness data and using advanced imaging technology. They're trying to bring the scientific method to a topic often dismissed as fringe science, attempting to sift through the noise and uncover credible evidence.
It sounds like they're on a mission to separate fact from fiction, which is crucial in a field as loaded as UFOs. But I imagine they face some unique challenges.
You're right. The biggest challenge is the lack of consistent, verifiable data. UFO sightings are often fleeting, making it difficult to obtain clear, unambiguous evidence. There's also the stigma attached to UFO research. It can be hard to get funding or be taken seriously by the mainstream scientific community, making it a tough field to navigate.
It's a shame because if there really is something out there, we need serious scientific inquiry to understand it. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the cultural impact of this whole UFO phenomenon, especially in the Mojave Desert.
Well, for one thing, it's become a hub for UFO tourism. People from all over the world come to experience the mystery firsthand. There are guided tours to alleged UFO sighting spots, conventions dedicated to all things extraterrestrial, even business catering specifically to UFO enthusiasts.
Wow, it's like the Mojave has become a pilgrimage site for believers and curious minds alike.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the influence on pop culture. Countless books, movies, and TV shows have drawn inspiration from the Mojave's otherworldly reputation. Those iconic desert landscapes, often bathed in an ethereal glow, become synonymous with the possibility of alien encounters.
You're right, the Mojave has this almost mythical quality to it, this sense that it holds secrets beyond our grasp. And that fascination, whether you believe in aliens or not, speaks to something deeper, a fundamental human curiosity about the unknown.
Absolutely. This fascination with UFOs, especially in a place like the Mojave Desert, taps into our innate curiosity about the universe and our place within it. It makes us question our assumptions about reality, about what's possible, and what it means to be human.
It's both humbling and exhilarating to consider those questions, especially when you're standing beneath the vast starry sky of the Mojave Desert. We're going to take a quick pause, but when we return, we'll delve deeper into some of the most famous UFO sightings in the Mojave and explore what they might reveal about this captivating phenomenon. Stay with us.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Mojave Desert UFO mystery. Before we paused, we were discussing the cultural impact of UFO sightings and how the Mojave has become a hub for UFO tourism and pop culture inspiration. But let's circle back to some of those specific sightings and really examine what makes them so intriguing.
Yes, let's hear more about those close encounters and those strange lights in the sky. I know we touched on a couple of examples earlier, but I'm ready for more details. What are some of the cases that really stand out?
One of the most famous Mojave UFO sightings happened in 1953 near Desert Center, California. A group of military personnel claimed to have witnessed a large silver disk hovering silently in the sky. They even managed to take some grainy photographs of the object. Despite their low quality, these photos became quite well known in UFO circles.
Photographs, that's interesting. That's not something you hear about every day with UFO sightings. Eyewitness accounts are one thing, but a photograph, even a blurry one, feels like it adds another layer of credibility.
You're right, photographs can be compelling, but they can also be easily misinterpreted or even faked. But even if we take the desert center photos with a grain of salt, the fact that multiple trained military personnel reported the same thing lends weight to the story.
That's a good point. It wasn't just some random folks out stargazing. These were people familiar with aircraft and trained to observe, so their account definitely holds more weight.
Exactly. And this case highlights another crucial point: the sheer variety of UFO reports we have. Some describe classic disc-shaped objects, while others talk about strange lights, cigar-shaped craft, or even triangular formations. This diversity of descriptions makes it harder to settle on a single explanation.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape. So are there any common threads or patterns that emerge when you look at all these sightings, or is it really just a random assortment of strange occurrences?
That's a great question, and one that researchers have been wrestling with for decades. While the descriptions vary, some recurring themes do pop up. For example, many witnesses report that the objects they saw moved in ways that seemed to defy the laws of physics: sudden accelerations, right-angle turns, or hovering silently without any visible means of propulsion.
Okay, that's where my skeptical brain starts to kick in. I mean, I know our understanding of physics is constantly evolving, but some of those maneuvers sound straight up impossible.
I hear you, and that's a valid point. But remember, we're dealing with eyewitness accounts here, and human perception can be unreliable, especially in situations that are stressful or out of the ordinary.
So is it possible that what people thought they saw wasn't actually what was happening? Maybe their brains were filling in the blanks or exaggerating what they were witnessing because of the unusual circumstances.
Exactly. There's a phenomenon known as the observer effect, where the act of observing something can influence its behavior. Add in the excitement and adrenaline of potentially witnessing something extraordinary, and it's easy to see how perceptions can become distorted.
Okay, so we have to take these accounts with a grain of salt, even if they come from credible sources. But I'm still curious, what about those cases where people claim to have physical evidence? Not just photographs, but actual objects they found.
Ah, yes, the physical evidence. That's the holy grail of UFO research. And there have been some tantalizing cases, though none that have definitively proven extraterrestrial origin. One famous example, though not in the Mojave, is the Roswell incident of 1947. It's relevant because it set the stage for how we think about UFO evidence.
Oh, Roswell. Everyone's heard of Roswell. Remind me what exactly happened there.
The official story is that the debris recovered near Roswell, New Mexico was from a weather balloon, but conspiracy theorists believe it was the wreckage of an alien spacecraft, and that the government covered up the truth.
And that alleged cover-up is what really fueled the whole conspiracy theory, right? It's like, if they're so quick to dismiss it as a weather balloon, they must be hiding something.
Exactly. Roswell became the archetype for government secrecy and cover-ups related to UFOs. Now, whether or not you believe in the Roswell conspiracy, the incident highlights how difficult it is to prove the authenticity of alleged UFO evidence. Even physical objects can be subject to misinterpretation or hoaxes.
It feels like we keep running into this wall of uncertainty. We have these compelling stories, strange lights in the sky, even blurry photographs and mysterious objects, but nothing that definitively proves alien contact. It's frustrating, but also kind of exciting in a way.
I agree. It's part of what makes the UFO phenomenon so captivating. It's a puzzle with missing pieces, and that ambiguity lets our imaginations run wild. But it's important to remember that the lack of definitive proof doesn't necessarily disprove the possibility of extraterrestrial visitation. It just means we need to keep searching, keep questioning,
Okay.
and keep an open mind.
Well said. I'm definitely keeping an open mind. So where do we go from here? What are some of the next steps in unraveling this mystery?
One promising avenue is the increasing use of technology in UFO research. We now have sophisticated cameras, radar systems, and even artificial intelligence that can help us analyze data and potentially identify patterns or anomalies that we might have missed before.
So we're not just relying on eyewitness accounts anymore. We're bringing in the big guns of technology to help us solve the puzzle. Speaking of technology, earlier we talked about the SETI Institute and their search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Can you tell us a little more about the specific technology they use and how it works?
Absolutely. SETI employs a variety of technologies, but one of their most powerful tools is the Allen Telescope Array. Located in Northern California, it's a collection of 42 radio telescopes working together to scan the skies for radio signals. signals that might indicate intelligent life.
Hmm.
These signals could be intentional beacons or even accidental leakage from a technologically advanced civilization. The array can detect extremely faint signals from vast distances, making it a powerful tool in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
It's amazing to think that we have the technology to potentially eavesdrop on alien conversations, even if those conversations are happening light years away. What are some of the challenges involved in using this kind of technology?
One of the biggest challenges is filtering out the noise. Space is a noisy place, full of natural radio emissions from stars, galaxies, and other celestial objects. SETI researchers have to develop sophisticated algorithms to distinguish these natural signals from potential artificial ones. Another challenge is the sheer amount of data. The Allen Telescope Array generates terabytes of data every day, and it takes a lot of computing power to analyze it all and search for those needle-in-a-haystack signals.
It sounds like a monumental task, but
Mm.
also incredibly exciting. It makes you wonder, what if they actually do find something? How would that change our understanding of the universe and our place within it?
It would be a profound discovery, one that would fundamentally alter our understanding of ourselves and our place in the cosmos. It would confirm that we are not alone, that intelligent life exists elsewhere in the universe. It would open up a whole new realm of possibilities, both scientifically and philosophically. We might learn about their technology, their culture, their history. It would spark a revolution in our understanding of life itself.
It's almost overwhelming to think about. But let's bring it back down to Earth for a moment. Even without definitive proof of alien contact, the cultural impact of UFOs, especially in a place like the Mojave Desert, is undeniable. Earlier, we talked about UFO tourism, and I'm curious to explore the broader cultural influence. How has the Mojave's association with UFOs shaped art literature and even scientific inquiry?
The Mojave, with its vast emptiness and otherworldly landscapes, has become a canvas for our collective imagination. It's a place where the boundaries between reality and fantasy blur, where the impossible feels just a little bit more possible. This sense of wonder has inspired countless artists, writers, and filmmakers. Think of the iconic desert scenes in movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or Star Wars. Those images have become deeply ingrained in our cultural consciousness, shaping how we visualize alien worlds and encounters.
Those are great examples. The Mojave almost has this mythical quality to it, this sense that it holds secrets just beyond our grasp, and that mystique has permeated our culture in so many ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about escapism or entertainment. This fascination with UFOs has also spurred genuine scientific inquiry. It's led to the development of new technologies and a deeper understanding of our own planet and the universe beyond. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, for example, has pushed the boundaries of astronomy and astrophysics, leading to new discoveries about the nature of stars, galaxies, and the origins of the universe.
It's fascinating how something as seemingly fringe as UFOs can have such a ripple effect across our culture, even influencing serious scientific endeavors.
It speaks to the power of the unknown, to our innate curiosity and desire to explore beyond the familiar. The Mojave Desert, with its rich history of UFO sightings and its evocative landscapes, serves as a powerful reminder that there's still so much we don't know of the universe and our place within it.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it, to realize that we're just a tiny speck in this vast, mysterious cosmos. And the Mojave, with its open skies and endless horizons, becomes a perfect place to contemplate that vastness and ponder the possibilities that lie beyond our current understanding.
Beautifully put. And as we continue to explore the mysteries of the Mojave and the broader universe, we might just find that the answers we seek are more profound and transformative than we ever imagined.
I can't wait to see what the future holds. Now, before we wrap up our deep dive into the Mojave Desert UFO phenomenon, I want to take a moment to revisit one of the most intriguing concepts we discussed earlier, the Fermi paradox. It raises this thought-provoking question. If extraterrestrial life is statistically probable, why haven't we found any concrete evidence yet? What are some of the possible explanations for this apparent contradiction?
That's a question that has puzzled scientists and philosophers for decades. There are a number of possible explanations, each with its own set of implications. One possibility is that we are truly alone, that life, at least intelligent life, is incredibly rare in the universe. This would be a humbling, but also somewhat lonely realization.
It's almost like looking up at a sky full of stars and realizing that we're the only ones looking back. What are some of the other explanations?
Another possibility is that interstellar travel is simply too difficult or too expensive, even for advanced civilizations. The distances involved are vast, and the energy requirements for crossing those distances might be beyond our current comprehension. It's also possible that alien civilizations have visited Earth in the past, but long before humans evolved, leaving no trace of their presence. Or perhaps they're observing us from afar, choosing not to interfere with our development.
That's a chilling thought. Imagine an alien civilization watching us from the shadows, studying our every move.
It's certainly a possibility, though one we have no evidence for. Another intriguing explanation is the idea of the Great Filter. This theory suggests that there might be a natural barrier or obstacle that prevents most civilizations from reaching a certain level of technological advancement, or from surviving long enough to make contact with other civilizations. This filter could be anything from resource depletion to self-destruction through warfare or environmental degradation.
So the Great Filter could be a kind of cosmic test that only a few civilizations manage to pass.
Exactly. And it's a sobering thought, because it raises the question, have we already passed the Great Filter or is it still ahead of us?
Yeah.
Are we destined to face a catastrophic event that will wipe us out? Or have we somehow managed to defy the odds?
Those are some pretty heavy questions. It's fascinating and a little terrifying to contemplate these possibilities. It makes you realize how much we still have to learn, not just about the universe, but about ourselves.
I agree. The Fermi paradox, while unsettling, is a powerful reminder of the limits of our current knowledge and the vastness of the unknown. It challenges us to push the boundaries of scientific exploration, to keep searching for answers, and to remain open to possibilities we might not have even considered before.
Well said. I think that's a perfect place to pause for a moment. When we return, we'll wrap up our deep dive into the Mojave Desert UFO phenomenon with some final thoughts and insights. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Mojave Desert UFOs.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
We've covered a lot of ground tonight, from those first-hand accounts to the skeptical explanations.
We even touched upon the whispers of Area 51 and the wider cultural ripples of this whole phenomenon. But before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your perspective on what it all means.
You know what strikes me most is how the Mojave Desert has become this focal point for our fascination with the unknown. Whether you're a die-hard believer in extraterrestrial visits or a staunch skeptic, the Mojave represents a place where those lines blur.
It's true.
It's where the impossible seems just a bit more plausible.
It's like the desert itself is a portal to our imagination. Bringing us back to the question we posed at the beginning. Are these Mojave UFOs simply misidentified events, advanced technology we haven't grasped yet, or something truly otherworldly?
Honestly, there's no easy answer. The allure of the Mojave UFO mystery is that it remains a mystery. We have those tantalizing hints, compelling stories, even some intriguing bits of evidence. But nothing definitive. And that very ambiguity keeps us coming back for more, keeps us gazing at the night sky with that sense of wonder and possibility.
I have to admit, even with all the skeptical explanations we've discussed, there's a part of me that wants to believe. It's just so much more exciting to think we might not be alone in this vast universe.
I completely understand that. And who knows, maybe someday science will catch up with our imaginations and give us that concrete proof. But until then, I think it's important to embrace the mystery, to allow ourselves to be captivated by what we don't yet know.
Beautifully said. So as we conclude this deep dive, what are some key takeaways you hope our listeners walk away with?
Well, first and foremost, I hope they've gained a deeper appreciation for the complexity of the UFO phenomenon. It's not a simple black and white issue. There are nuances, uncertainties, a whole lot of gray areas to consider.
Absolutely.
It's not just about believing or disbelieving. It's about acknowledging that there are things we don't yet understand.
Right. That's okay.
Exactly. And I also hope our listeners come away with a renewed sense of wonder and curiosity. The Mojave Desert, with its long history of UFO sightings, invites us to look up at the sky and ask questions, to contemplate the vastness of the cosmos and our place within it.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. The Mojave UFO mystery is ultimately a story about human curiosity, our innate desire to explore the unknown and push the boundaries of what we think is possible.
And who knows, maybe someday those boundaries will be shattered completely, revealing a reality far more extraordinary than we ever imagined.
Until then, we'll keep our eyes on the skies, our minds open to the possibilities, and our imaginations fueled by the enduring mystery of Mojave Desert UFOs. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.